And at that moment, I started asking God questions. How do I show up more authentic? Like, how can I pour into others, but also tell them just how amazing you are without being so overwhelming?
Welcome to the Work Matters podcast, where you will hear real-life stories from everyday people in different roles and industries share the challenges of practically integrating their faith and work. Each week together, we'll wrestle over what God is doing in us and with us while we work. So let's dive in. Well, today, Daryl and I get to spend time with a good friend of mine, Idalia LeJune. Idalia is a senior relationship manager with Corebridge Financial. She's recently honored as a 2025 Rising Star by the Spark Institute. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a prestigious recognition highlighting the exceptional contributions to the retirement plan industry, showcasing the dedication to helping individuals achieve retirement security. Idalia is a native Houstonian, so am I. Let's go, Texas. But relocated to Northwest Arkansas 3 years ago to enjoy the nature it provides. She's married to her best friend, Erin, and the proud mother of the most amazing little 5-year-old girl, Peyton. She's a first-generation Mexican-American striving for success in corporate America. And for the past 25 years, she's recently discovered God's calling in her life through the realm of discomfort, opening her eyes to the true purpose of life. Idalia and I know each other because we live in spiritual community together. We go to church together. My wife, Betsy, and Idalia, y'all do a Bible study together as well.
Yes.
And then Bessie May, my daughter,
Yeah.
watches your amazing daughter as well.
I love your family.
Yes.
They've been such a blessing.
Well, we love you too. Did I leave anything out that you want to add?
No, it was perfect.
Awesome. We're so glad to have you. Thanks for being
you.
on.
Thanks.
Well, Idalia, take us back. I'd love for you to describe your attitude about work when you began your career.
Well, I have to give credit where credit is due, and that is to my hardworking dad. May he rest in peace. He taught us how to work really hard and strive for the best. He was a self-employed welder out in the field. So my brother and I had this saying that our worst day in the office is our dad's best day in the field. So don't complain. Let's get to work, do the best we can. And honestly, I've taken that with me in every role and, and every achievement that I accomplished these 25 years. I started as a 17-year-old in the industry. So it's been quite some time.
Wow.
Dating myself there.
You mentioned you're an achiever, and I think anybody that spends 2 minutes with you can tell that you go get things. And so what back then? What was the purpose of work when you started your career?
Man, I lived to make my dad proud. To set the benchmark right for us as this new generation, right? So making him proud, being in the office and doing the things that he never thought we could accomplish as, being here in the United States.
Wow.
So, yeah, I felt like I had big shoes to fill from that perspective because he got me through college. And so that was me paying him forward. And my mom, of course.
Sure.
Yeah. I know we spent time together. I know Betsy, when I told her that we were going to be spending time together today, she said, I just love her and love her energy. And you got lots of energy. And early on in your career, were you pretty driven?
Very driven. I just always wanted to do more. I think because I was surrounded by much more privileged individuals than myself, especially in a financial industry where, man, I would see a different side of the world and how they lived. I wanted to strive for more, more success, more, things and, accomplishments and achievements. So I just always went 100% on everything I did.
Yeah. What? Where was your faith during that season of being driven?
It was a check the box faith.
Mm.
It was, thank you, God, for this opportunity. It was, the sign of the cross when I get in my car to go to my job. But it was not a relationship like I have today.
Mm.
So when did that change? Tell us a little bit about that, the story. When did it move from the check box to the relationship?
When I was struggling, in 2023 to be exact. Things were not mapping out as I had planned. I had major career frustrations, a plateau per se. Family hopes weren't being met. And I was just chasing success. And it really unveiled the unbalanced that I had in my life.
Wow.
So, yeah, that changed for me.
Yeah. I know when we talked, you said there was a period there, probably 4 or 5 years ago, when it seemed like you put everything on the table because you were trying to figure out what was happening and where you were heading. So
yeah.
I'd love for our listeners to hear more just about that.
Well, I had to dig deep, honestly. I realized that my life was unbalanced. So I implemented what I like to call the trifecta of a well-balanced life, right? So I prioritized my spirit, I prioritized my body and mind. So I started consulting God. And I say consulting intentionally because it was a transactional type of relationship that I had at that time. And I got back into the gym. I started to read and listen to books. And I decided to make a change. And instead of searching for the next role or happiness, I prioritized God and decided to make that shift. And I quickly learned that it was one of the best things I've ever done. Yeah.
I know that there was a period in your career where you actually took a step back positionally.
Yeah.
That's not something we hear about on podcasts very often.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
It was the biggest decision and challenge I had ever made in my life because I was always achieving and successful in my achievements. But because I hit that plateau, I decided to stop searching and instead of looking for the next job and leaving a company where I was so uncomfortable, I chose to be obedient versus optics. And I trusted God to see that maybe he could see something that I couldn't see. And in 2024, I decided to purposefully take a step back in my career. And I became a relationship manager. And I'm so grateful because it afforded me the margin to prioritize church. I joined community groups, the Bible study for the very first time in my life. I leaned in and I started to build a true relationship with God. And I started my day each and every day with him at the forefront. That year, I felt so light, joyful. I switched from a transactional life to a more relational one. And I stopped and poured into others. I started to help them realize that life was much more than just a paycheck or a title. It was really finding peace in their own circumstances and, through God.
Thank you.
During that season, you're at SoCo, you're traveling for work. You run into Work Matters. How did that happen?
I honestly remember as if it was yesterday. I was at a work event and, we had a keynote speaker talking to us about how do we engage our clients and, making it about them versus ourselves, making it about, what are their goals so that we can do the best we can for our clients. And in my mind, I'm like, well, yeah, of course, we got to pour into people. And if it's about them, then the rest is history. And at that moment, I started asking God questions. How do I show up more authentic? Like, how can I pour into others, but also tell them just how amazing you are without being so overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
And that was what I was there from Monday through Thursday. On the following Sunday, I heard you at church give a sermon. And at that time, Brandon, I had no idea about your background. I didn't know you were, the CEO of Work Matters, and you started sharing your experience and your path in your journey. And I seriously felt as if God was talking to me through you, especially because you mentioned you used to have a pizza franchise.
Yes.
I literally wanted to stand up a pizza franchise. So I was like, okay.
I'm so thankful you didn't.
No, I did not. It was something that I was like, maybe I should do that. But I thought it was hilarious because I'm like, okay, this is so God. This is so God talking to me. And at this point, I'm learning to discern that voice, right? And so before I knew it, you were talking about the Work Matters conference. And so at that point, and this was last year in 2025, that was for me a year of saying yes, a year of stewardship, as I like to call it. And I said, okay, he answered me. I got to do it. Like, I have to sign up. I didn't know who was going to attend. I went by myself, literally. That was in September. I was actually on a work trip from September, that Monday through Thursday evening. September 12th came around and I got up, got changed, dropped off Peyton, and I went straight to the conference by myself. I typically like to invite someone. I went by myself. It was all about me. Sat at the front row and it was amazing. I saw God talking to me through Sheba Phillips, through Shelby Simpson. And I realized that God was telling me, I see you, kid. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay obedient and just continue on that path. So much so that after the conference, in the parking lot, I was just so joyful because I really knew he was talking to me. And I was like, okay, I hear you. I see you too. And as a testament to that, I am going to get baptized. And that just so happened that Sunday, our church circle had baptism Sunday.
Wow.
So I immediately registered on the spot without hesitation as me giving him glory. So that's how I came to the conference.
I love that. I love that story because I remember I did do that sermon. I don't do a lot of sermons, but Brad asked me if I'd come and talk about faith and work, and so I did. And I think you came up to me at some point at church. You saw me and you ran up to him. We had not met before. Yeah. I knew Bessie Mae had watched your daughter, and you came up to me and you were like, is it too late to sign up for the conference? I want to go to the conference. And you did. And I just thought, gosh, this lady has a lot of energy. This is awesome, And then for you to go, and I remember seeing you on the front row and you were so engaged and it was just so neat to watch you just soak in so much. And then for your life. And then, of course, I saw you get baptized. I thought that was just amazing, too. And I just love your story because this is new to you.
Yeah.
This faith and work, it's new to you. And I'd love for you to continue your story. So even from that, you wanted to go even deeper. So you actually signed up for Work Matters Institute.
Yeah, because while I had, this amazing experience, I got baptized, I'm by no means perfect. I started to, have experiences at work where it cemented the notion of me doing even better. I remember one example. I had a coworker and that, we're partnered and she needed to provide me with some solutions for a client. I was patient until I was not. And I fired up, an email and straightforward, not with my, sweet touch or anything, but just very stern. And I fired it off. I sent it. I felt the worst conviction and guilt, right? And I couldn't even sleep that night. So the next morning, I immediately decided that I was going to have to put a one-on-one together with her because that is not why I got baptized. I'm a different person. And I was feeling like I was reverting back to that transactional, self, so to speak. So I reached out to her, we talked, and I apologized, and I opened up with love and compassion. And I remember sharing with her that I'm different. I don't want to be that individual. And I wanted to apologize for making her feel any kind of way. Because it was not a nice email. And she apologized for her mistake. And I created a safe space for her to be so vulnerable enough to share with me why she was dropping the ball. And come to find out, her mother was battling stage 4 cancer. I immediately prayed over her, and now she's my sister in Christ. So in that moment, I realized I'm not done. I have to figure the right formula to continue on integrating my faith at work. And, I realized that this is my purpose. This is my mission field. I don't have to quit my corporate job and go out to, a third world country to do God's work. So I joined the cohort because I figured, and I'll be honest, I like to complicate things. So I'm like, it has to be this amazing formula to what God wants us to do. I have to figure that more to this. And that's why I decided to do the cohort.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd like to recognize and thank Simmons Foods, Inc. for being our exclusive sponsor for this season of the Work Matters podcast. Their generosity is making this new season of meaningful content and inspiring guests possible. We hope people are encouraged to see work as a place where God shapes them more into His image in their work, at their work, and through their work. Simmons Foods, Inc. is a family-owned and led company based in Siloam Springs, Arkansas, supplying poultry, pet, and animal nutrition products to customers in all 50 states and more than 40 countries around the world. Please visit simmonsfoods.com to learn more about our wonderful sponsor. Thank you.
I'm listening to your story, and of course, we had a chance to visit before, but it is that change that we often see or hope to see when someone goes from working for God to working with God. It's easy to work for Him and do these things, but that shift to doing things with Him makes all the difference. And it sounds like that just comes through as you tell the different parts of your story.
Oh, I feel it. I feel it each and every day. I ask God to direct my day, put those individuals that I need to speak to on my path and allow me to just do His work and help shape and change this world 1% at a time. And it's been a beautiful journey.
At Work Matters, we talk about wanting to see everyone formed into the image of Christ in work, at work, and through work. In work, God has clearly just stirred in your heart and changed your life. he opened your eyes and wanted you to do, start working with him. At work, I mean, you just told a story where God's used you to impact the life of someone else. You listened, you were humble, you sought forgiveness, you prayed with her. And through your work, you just said you're bringing about a redemption and a renewal to the world, and that you don't have to actually leave your job to go do missions or go overseas or do anything, but you can bring a redemptive and renewal to the world through the work you're doing in the position that you have. What, in all of that, I'm curious, what is God doing right now in you? With just right where you are on this journey? Like what's different today?
This year, the theme that I'm feeling most is obedience and listening. And I feel it because, oftentimes you hear, oh, just listen to God's word, just listen.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it going to be an audio thing? Like, am I going to hear him? Like, but I have gotten to the point where I am listening and I hear him. And it's obviously just, me feeling convicted with the thoughts that come to my mind. And I mean, literally, I just came out of a trip. I have another example that for me, it's just incredible how by being so obedient and faithful, he does show up and he does speak to you. Mm-hmm. So I'm in San Antonio, first trip of the year. We left on Monday. I came back on last Wednesday. And these are 14-hour days, okay? It's networking, it's learning, it's getting the year started with our business goals, right? 14-hour days, I'm wiped, right? So I'm heading home on Wednesday, get on the airplane, and I always get the aisle seat. Somehow, the entire flight got booked, fully sold out, oversold, I mean. And I get in the middle seat. I'm like, okay.
There's an opportunity for spiritual growth right there.
Right? Tell me about it.
That's a truth.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to put my AirPods on and just listen to some music and relax this next hour to Houston so that I can make it back home. And a gentleman comes in. He sits to the left of me, and something about him just kind of like caught my attention, but I'm tired. I am just ready to relax and unwind right before I get home to my family. And put my AirPods on, I put my music on. And then in my mind, I hear, have a chat with this guy. And I'm like, Idalia, you're wild. You just finished talking to your boss for I don't know how many hours. Just chill. Just relax. Just chill. And then I'm like, once again, have a chat with this guy. And I'm like, could this be God actually talking to me? I'm like, nah, I'm totally making this up. Like, no, this is not it. Just relax. You've been doing too much talking. Just go to, take a little nap. It kept on bugging me. Have a chat with this guy. And I'm like, okay, if this is really you, God, I had to. I asked, give me a sign. Give me a sign. Give me a sign that you truly want me to talk to this guy. Because for all I know, he also doesn't want anybody to bug him. Right. I don't want to be that person. So I just waited for that sign. And then I see this guy go into this a sack of like, those sacks that when you buy big bulks of oranges or potatoes.
Yeah,
right?
Sure. Yeah. Kind of a mesh.
Yeah. A mesh type of sack. I'm like, who uses a mesh sack to travel? But okay. So maybe that's the new thing nowadays. I don't know. Our cultural changes all the time. Anyway, so he gets this book out and I couldn't help but look and it said Mindset. And it was from Dr. Joe Dispenza. So for me, that was my sign because I remember when I was struggling so hard with just a depression state in 2023, I thought to myself, logically, I need to just fix my mind. I need to fix my mind. I didn't think about going to God. I decided to fix my mind. Mentality, perspective. Yeah. Let's just switch it up. Dr. Dispenza was the first author that I picked up that year when I was struggling. That was my sign. So I took off my AirPods. I put them up and literally I was still fighting it. I'm like, okay, this is it. I literally do this. I'm like, do you like that book? Fighting it all along. And he's like, oh my God, it's the best book. It's changed me. It's changing me. And so he's this lit up. He was excited to talk to me. He was like, I've gone through a rough patch, and starts talking to me about his life and the fact that he had just been in jail for 7 months because now he's being deported back to London. He's a citizen. He's a Londoner. And during this current environment that we're in, his visa expired and he was pulled over for whatever reason, and Border Patrol picked him up, and now he's heading back to London after not being there for 7 years. After not seeing his parents for 7 years. After not seeing his child for 7 years. And so he's like, you have no idea what you're doing for me right now. I have not felt normal in 7 months. I have not had a conversation with anybody. No one knows I'm arriving in London. I haven't been able to contact my fiance. So thank you. You are literally God sent for me right now. And during this time, I am like, okay, I'm listening and I obey. I'm obeying. So then we're landing. God's like, let him use your phone. Let the guy use your phone. So I asked him, I'm like, well, will you have an opportunity when we land in Houston to call someone? No, they're going to get me. A patrol is going to meet me at the gate and put me in a holding cell until my flight to London is ready. I'm like, okay, here's my phone. Now's your chance. Call whoever you need to call. He lit up. He was like, are you serious? Are you going to seriously let me use your phone? I'm like, hey, that's what God wants us to do. Help one another. He used my phone. He tried to use my phone because unfortunately that was the day that Verizon had that big outage. So unfortunately he couldn't use the phone, but he was so encouraged, grateful. And I did proceed to tell him I would message whoever he needed me to message. And he was even more like shocked that I would care to help him out so much. And he's like, You've changed my perspective on life. I will never forget you. And we went off on our own path. Wow. I shared that story because that is what God's doing in me this year. I know it wholeheartedly that this year is a year of listening and obeying. And that's where I'm at right now.
Love that.
That's awesome. Wow. Thanks for sharing that story.
Yeah.
Because technically, that was a work situation, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times we just want to shut it off. And no matter how dynamic we are living our faith out at work, getting home is part of the job.
Yeah.
And yet you didn't hoard that time for yourself, but responded to a nudge that God gave you.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Do you have a final question?
Yeah, I wonder if there's maybe 2 or 3 things, if you could put yourself back in that transition time, because we've got listeners that are there. They're feeling stirrings and they don't know what to do. They know things are just kind of not in round. It's just a little wobbly right now.
Yeah.
What's a couple things that you would suggest that they do to move forward? And
I would highly recommend to have their season of being bold, leaning in, and truly being intentional, because it's not going to happen just automatically.
Yeah.
You have to be intentional.
Yeah.
You have to say yes to the most uncomfortable thing you've never really done. So leaning in, being bold, and saying yes.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you for spending time with us. When I listen to you as well, I just am so grateful that you were bold and you leaned in and you came up to me and you went to the conference and then you went through WMI and you did certain things and surrounded yourself with community and people that could help you during your journey and learning how to listen to God and to be obedient. And so I'm just really thankful that you did that. I really am. And thank you for being on the Work Matters podcast. Couple of things real quick and we'll wrap up. So I want to ask you a couple questions for our audience. Mm-hmm. What is a fun family Mexican dish that you love to go back to time and time again? Do you have one?
Oh my gosh, I have to. My daughter loves tostadas.
Okay.
She loves chicken tostadas, a little bit of beans, avocado, some sour cream, some salsa, some queso fresco. Very important.
Very important.
Shredded chicken, lettuce and tomatoes.
Oh, that's so good. I love that. And then tell us just one thing. What's one thing you love to do in Northwest Arkansas?
Wow. So there's a plethora of things, but the reason why we're here is the amazing trail system that we have here.
Yeah.
So mountain biking, downhill mountain biking.
Yeah, it's awesome here. That's a big thing. A big thing. Yeah. Well, thank you for being on the Work Matters podcast. We're so grateful. And I want to tell our listeners out there, if you want to take the next step, just like you heard in her story, you can do that. Go to workmatters.org, go to the Work Matters Institute, set up a time, have a conversation with Jessica. You can actually get started today. It is on demand for you to jump right into the Work Matters Institute. We'd love to have you. And thank you again for tuning in with us. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining the Work Matters podcast. Make sure you subscribe to get notifications when we launch new episodes. Start living out your faith through your work in practical ways by starting the Work Matters Institute online today. You can do this and learn more about upcoming forums, webinars, and conferences by visiting workmatters.org.